finally said something. After days of silence, after 159 million views, after the entire internet picked a side, Erika Kirk has finally responded to Druski's viral skit. And bro, the energy behind what she said is exactly what you would expect from someone who has been holding this in. Close sources have been saying for days that she was absolutely seething behind closed doors. And now we are starting to see exactly what that looks like when it comes to the surface. This is the response the whole internet has been waiting for. And trust me, you are going to want to hear every single detail. Stay right here. All right, let me make sure everybody is fully caught up, because if you have been sleeping on this story, you have missed one of the most insane internet moments of 2026 so far, and it is still going. A few days ago, Druski, real name Drew DeBoards, dropped a skit on X titled, "How Conservative Women in America Act." Now, on paper, that sounds like a standard comedy video, right? Wrong. This thing became a cultural event. Full prosthetics, blonde wig, heavy makeup, white jacket. The transformation was so thorough that people genuinely could not tell it was him. Not casual viewers, everybody. The skin tone, the facial structure, the way he carried himself in character. Whoever put that look together deserves a serious conversation about their next career move, because the accuracy was almost uncomfortable. The skit moves through a series of scenes, opens with fireworks and 2 American flags, while his character dances on stage. People immediately clocked that as a direct nod to Charlie Kirk's Arizona memorial. Then, a mock press conference about the Iran war, where his character performs concern while dodging every hard question. A Starbucks drive-thru, a Bible testimony, and then the scene that genuinely stopped the internet cold. His character steps up to a podium and delivers a speech about protecting white men in America, specifically, while a guard in the background visibly reacts to the line landing. That 2-second clip alone got reposted so many times, it basically became its own separate viral moment.
After Druski just did another skit in whiteface, where he is dressed up as Charlie Kirk, and now somehow people are mad at this. And Druski's response so far is hilarious. So just a few hours ago, Druski just posted this video where he is dressed up as Erika Kirk, where Druski goes full whiteface, is dancing around on stage with sparklers and fireworks. He is out here going to Pilates classes, Starbucks, and even more insaner, he does the signature Erika Kirk face. And honestly, I couldn't even tell that this was Druski for the first time that I watched the video, because his makeup artists literally do a more better job than almost anyone in Hollywood. But now even more worse, people are more madder at Druski for doing this than ever. Even more madder than when they were mad at him for the NASCAR whiteface thing, and saying that it's extremely disrespectful to do this to a grieving wife. And even though his caption was "conservative women be like," it definitely seemed targeted, and that no doubt Erika Kirk will clap back. And now people are saying that they want Erika Kirk to do a reverse whiteface to get back at Druski.
And then the Grok situation happened. Someone on X posted a still image from the skit and asked Grok, X's built-in AI, to identify who was in the photo. Grok came back with 2 words, Erika Kirk. Not Druski in costume, not a parody account, just Erika Kirk, like it was a factual statement. That exchange alone racked up 3 million views and over 100,000 likes. Now, for people who are newer to this story, let me give you the full picture on Erika Kirk, because you cannot fully understand her response without understanding the weight of everything she has been carrying since September. Erika Kirk is the widow of Charlie Kirk, the conservative activist, commentator, and co-founder of Turning Point USA, who was assassinated while speaking at an event at Utah Valley University in September 2025. His death sent shockwaves through the entire conservative movement and immediately thrust Erika into a spotlight she never asked for in the most brutal way imaginable. She stepped up to lead Turning Point USA as CEO in the aftermath and has been navigating one of the most intense public scrutiny cycles that any figure in recent memory has faced. Think about what that looks like on a weekly basis. Every public appearance gets dissected in real time. People analyze her facial expressions for signs of grief or the absence of it. Candace Owens has been publicly and repeatedly questioning whether her mourning is even genuine, and pushing conspiracy theories about the circumstances of Charlie's death. Joe Rogan went on his podcast just 5 days before Druski's skit dropped, called her an odd duck, showed footage from a CBS town hall, and used the phrase demon eyes to describe how she comes across on camera. She sat in the House chamber at the 2026 State of the Union as Trump's personal guest, while the room chanted Charlie's name and cameras cut to her face, and the entire internet watched her reaction and formed opinions about it in real time. This is the environment she has been living in since September. September. So when a comedy skit hits 159 million views and the whole world is watching, you start to understand why her response carries the weight that it does. But here's the piece of context that reframes this entire story, and it is the part that Druski's camp keeps coming back to every single time the pressure builds. 2 weeks before the skit dropped, Erika Kirk appeared at a press conference in Arkansas alongside Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders. The event was straightforward on the surface, an announcement about Turning Point USA expanding their Club America chapters into high schools and colleges across the state. But then Erika Kirk gets to the microphone and delivers a line that the internet immediately turned into a flashpoint. Word for word, she told the audience, "Don't let anyone disenfranchise you because you're a young man, especially a young white male man." The clip went viral the same day. X ran with it. TikTok ran with it. The phrase young white male man became a meme before the press conference was even fully over. People were also pointing out that a black student was standing directly behind her as she said it, which just layered onto an already loaded moment in a way the internet could not ignore. Now fast forward 2 weeks. Druski's character steps to a podium in that skit and talks about protecting white men in America specifically. And within hours, users were posting the Arkansas press conference footage directly next to Druski's version, side by side, frame for frame. The parallels were so precise that people were genuinely struggling to process how accurately he had mirrored the real moment. That is the foundation of everything. That is the argument his camp keeps making. He did not invent a character. He reflected a real public moment back at the world through a comedy lens in front of 159 million people. And that number is what makes Erika's response so loaded. Now, while the views were climbing and the internet was picking sides, the story coming out of Erika Kirk's camp privately was something else entirely. Close sources say she was furious from the moment the skit dropped, and not just surface level frustrated. People close to the situation describe the anger as deep and multi-layered. Sources say the conversations in her camp went from anger to strategy very quickly. People around her were weighing every option: legal routes, public statements, staying silent, hitting back directly. The debate was real and apparently intense. Because as we mentioned before, there is no clean move available to her here. Every response feeds the cycle. Every piece of silence gets interpreted as acceptance. She was backed into a corner by 159 million views, and eventually, something had to give. And so she responded. And the energy behind it is exactly what those close sources said it would be. The core of what Erika Kirk communicated, whether directly or through people speaking on her behalf, lands in that same place every time. How dare you? How dare you take the most painful period of my life and package it into entertainment? How dare you put on a costume and perform grief and widowhood for internet clout? How dare you strip my actual words of all their context and replay them back to the world as a punchline? That is the temperature. That is what is driving every conversation in her camp. And the internet? Bro, the internet split immediately and loudly. On one side, you had genuine empathy, conservative voices, people who had followed her story since September, and honestly, just regular people with a basic sense of humanity saying this crossed a line. John Root had already posted that targeting a woman whose husband was brutally assassinated is simply not the move. Dom Luker said, "There is a responsibility that comes with a platform that size, and that 159 million views is not a small comedy skit anymore. It is a statement." But the other side came back just as hard. The argument was simple. You are a public figure. You chose this role. You stood at that Arkansas podium and said young white male man into a microphone at a public event. You sat in the House chamber as the president's personal guest. You give interviews. You lead a major political organization. Satire of public figures has always existed and it always will. That is the deal when you step into that arena. The question that nobody has a clean answer to right now is simple. What does Erika Kirk do next? Because every move feeds the story, and this story has proven that it does not need any help to keep growing. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Was Erika right to respond, or did speaking out just pour fuel on a fire that was already at 159 million views? Anyway, this concludes today's video. Be sure to subscribe to LoafTube for future celebrity videos, and turn on that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Until then, see you in the next one.